Hello everyone, and welcome to Korn Ferry Live. My name's Darren Bolton and I'm your host for today. Now before we get started, a quick reminder, this is live. So don't just sit there quietly judging us, get involved, share your thoughts, send us your questions as we go along. We've got a poll coming up later as well, so there are plenty of opportunities to join the conversation. Please don't leave me all lonely. As you already know, today's topic is find a job, keep a job, the new career deal. And I think it's fair to say that careers have become a lot more complicated than they used to be. There was a time when the rules seemed fairly straightforward, work hard, gain experience, move up the ladder, simple. Except for many people, it doesn't feel quite simple anymore. Getting hired can feel harder, staying relevant can feel harder. And if you've ever looked at someone's LinkedIn profile and wondered how on earth they got from point A to point Z without visiting any of the letters in between, you're not alone. The reality is that careers today are less predictable, less linear, and in many ways more personal than they've ever been. So what's that mean for all of us? What should individuals be doing differently? And what should organizations be doing to help people succeed? Those are some of the questions we'll be unpacking today, and thankfully, I don't have to answer them on my own. Joining me today are two of Korn Ferry's career whisperers, Quincy Valencia, Vice President of Talent Transformation, and Jonathan Britland, one of our executive coaches. Quincy, Jonathan, welcome. Great to have you both here.
Thanks, Darren. Great to be here.
Lovely to see
Likewise,
you.
Darren. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Now, it's obviously scorching here in the UK right now, so fingers crossed that technology is going to work. I think I'll survive through it, but if I start sweating, it's not because of the questions, it's just because of the heat. Yeah, it's not my job to sweat anyway, it's your job to sweat. So, right, let's get into the heart of today's conversation. So, Quincy, if you asked most people, say, I don't know, 20 years ago, what a successful career looked like, they'd probably have given you a fairly predictable answer, but today, not so much. When you look at the world of work now, what's different about building a career?
You know, you nailed it, I think, in your opening, Darren. You said it used to be we would get hired, we would get experience, we would move up, and then that would happen again and again until you retired and got the gold watch. And I think we all know that those days have been gone for quite some time, but it really is more complicated today. So, you know, experience obviously still matters. It's just that the shelf life of that experience is really getting shorter, I think, with the pace of change and how work is done and the tools that we use to do that work. And so companies are really looking not just at, you know, what you've done, but how quickly you can adapt, how agile you are, how quickly you can learn and create value in new situations. And so I talk to people about this all the time and they'll say, that's great, but how do I possibly show what I can do next on a resume or on LinkedIn or even in conversations? And you know, my answer to them is it's difficult, but it's not as difficult as you think because these things sort of leave fingerprints, right? So stop just describing your responsibilities, but describe your growth. You know, don't just say, I managed a team. Say things like, I led a transformation, or I built this specific capability, or leaned in to learn something new. That's what organizations are really looking to see, much more than just the experience that you bring in a particular, you know, technicality or technical area. They don't just want to know what your job was. They want to know what they're becoming. And there are ways to show that in the way that you verbalize that, or the way that you display yourself, or the way that you come across, again, if it's LinkedIn, if it's an application, whatever that case may be.
Great, love that. Jonathan, one of the complaints I hear all the time is that people can't get experience because they don't have experience. It's the career version of being told you can't join the club until you're already a member. So for people trying to break in and build momentum early in their careers, what's making it so difficult right now? And what are the people who do succeed doing differently?
It's a great question, Darren, because employers are hiring to solve business challenges. Employees have to demonstrate that they're able to have an impact on those business challenges through the application of skills, knowledge, experience, insights, showing their mindset, showing their passion for what they do. but it's often plug and play, ready to go. And that's the catch-22. Yeah, it's very real. It's very tough early in your career to turn your capability into proven ability.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
And it's about understanding how you acquire that through being involved in projects, showing curiosity in problem solving, applying nimble learning. As Quincy said, being agile about how you do things, what you do. And putting all of those pieces together in such a way as the early careers individuals can actually capitalize and really add the value to that business challenge and that business complex, because they need to paint a picture and put the pieces of the picture together to show the picture of their career that they want in a way that works for them. That's the real challenge.
Love it. Love it. Some nice little sound bites there for everyone. Hopefully people can take a lot from this today. So that's great. Quincy, for anyone who's been working for a while, I'm looking at myself here, this next question might sting a little bit, but we were all told experience matters, build the track record, do the work, earn the stripes. But now it kind of feels like the market is also asking, yes, but what have you learned lately? So why is experience no longer the whole story?
I mean, it's sort of what we were talking about before. So experience it's evidence of what you've done, but it isn't proof about future readiness for what business problems are coming. And it's that same, how do I prove something? And how do I prove that I can do something if I've never done it before? Well, you don't have to prove that exact same thing. You know, you prove adjacent things. If you had to prove things that you haven't done, nobody would have gotten their first job as a manager. That's not why you get that first job as a manager. You get that job not because you've done it, but because you've coached people, you've influenced people, you've led projects or solved problems. Or, you know, nobody gets their first executive job because they've already been an executive. You know, they've demonstrated leadership or judgment or influence or strategic thinking or whatever the case may be. So the proof point isn't that you've done the job, it's that you've shown the raw materials to do the job. It goes back to that curiosity and adaptability and agility and those other things that we, we're already talking about. Because if companies are only hiring people who've already done the exact job, nobody's ever getting promoted.
Yeah.
So I think, the people that are accelerating their careers today are usually demonstrating, I hate to say this, it sounds cliche, but they're demonstrating tomorrow's behaviors today. It's that behavioral capability, not just the fact that you can do a P&L at the end of the month. It's what else has come along with that. And it's really important that we, as job seekers, are leaning into that and finding a way to tell that story of what we've done and what that means and how that will benefit in this next role.
Gotcha. That's great. I think we've got a question. So if we can get that up on the screen, that'd be lovely. Here it goes. Oh, no, that's the poll. Question first, polls next. Here we go, from Bob. So how are we going to get youngsters on this career path, learning about to change, or learning how to change, maybe that means?
Darren, perhaps I can start with that one. It's, a little bit, I'm going to steal some book titles. What got you here won't get you there, right? Growth mindset and feel the fear and do it anyway. If you're in a position where you feel that you're not the subject matter expert or you don't have the depth of expertise, acquire it. Look for it. Think of the value that you can generate through networking, not just for visibility, but to raise your credibility, to build comfort, familiarity, and trust. And be curious. Start to learn. Be hungry. Be nimble in how you learn mistakes as well as successes, because you won't get it right. And as Quincy said, first-time managers, first-time executives, they feel this as much as a youngster in the early start of their careers does. It's just but it's very common.
I think that's a really good point. And what's interesting to me is I think there are more parallels now for people who are experienced in their career with people who are early in their career than there ever have been. And what I mean by that is exactly what we're talking about. People, if you're early in career, whether you went to university or whether you didn't, wherever it is, it's that traditional, how do I come out of, I'll just use university as an example. How do I come out of university and show that I can do all these things when I've never done anything? And so we all went through that process of, well, I was in this organization and I did this and I did that. But if you think about it, that's exactly what we're all having to do now. That's what you and I are talking about, right? It's not showing that you did one thing specifically. You didn't just recruit. You didn't just lead a recruiting team. you are a salesperson if you're in recruiting, because it's a double-sided sale. You have to sell a company on a person and a person on a company. And so how did you close that deal? You have to start thinking in terms and demonstrating in terms that are different than just those things that are on a job description. So for those of us who have maybe been around a minute or two, we have to start going back to that mindset we used to be in, which is exactly this. It's how do I demonstrate my potential, as opposed to just ticking off, tasks that I've done or things that I've done in my org.
Great. Okay, so we're going to take a little pause for a second here. Quincy, Jonathan, don't go anywhere. We'll come right back, because this is our point. We're going to put our audience to work. So we've had a question in. That's lovely. I want more questions than that. Keep those coming in, please. There's a delay sometimes, so get them in early. I don't want them seeing coming in when we've signed off. But we've got a quick poll coming up on the screen. We all a little teaser of it earlier. And we're not asking much of you here. Just a single number in the chat would be lovely. So what I want you to do is tell us, where do you feel the new career deal most strongly? Is it getting hired? Maybe it's growing inside an organization, staying relevant, or maybe it's finding meaningful work. Just put a number in the chat, and that would be great. And if nobody responds, I'll have to assume you're all completely happy with your careers and have everything figured out. And let's face it, we know that probably isn't strictly true. So don't be shy. Come on. I want to see those votes coming in. And we'll come back to those results later. So thanks for those. And lovely. Right, back in the room, Jonathan. There was a time when success felt quite easy to measure. As we said, you got promoted, bigger title, moved on, that kind of stuff. But today, career growth can look very different. So how do people know they've moved forward when the next move isn't always up and maybe isn't always obvious?
It's called a squiggly career, Darren. Yeah.
It's like you ticked it off. We said, can you get squiggly into this session? You can walk away now. Your work here is done.
So another book title, because it's out there. Now, what I mean by this is that to acquire career resilience, it's about opening optionality. Right? Some careers are linear. A lot of careers are very non-linear. I have a squiggly career. If you check me out on LinkedIn, you'll see. Start by getting to know yourself first. Your passions. Why do you do what you do? Why do you come back every day for more? I share an example, if I may. I coached someone just this week, 26 years service with the same company, and they have just taken a lateral move to become a team lead in a very different function, leaving behind a mature, sophisticated, well-oiled, high-performing team that they built over the last 4 years. Why? They want to stay relevant for the next 5 to 10 years in the organization. And they didn't start work yesterday. They started work decades ago. So it's about knowing yourself. It's about knowing your passion and purpose and calling. And as I've said earlier in the early answer, your knowledge, your skills, your experience, your insight, your mindset, and your passion, they come together to form the unique you. If you can articulate that value, you can interact with others around you in a networking context and have clarity in your delivery of that messaging. That will make connections and open up doors to navigate the what's next, where. I can't see progression, flat teams, matrix teams, outsourcing. All of these things have changed the dynamics of the workforce. AI will reshape the roles of skills needed in the future. How do you stay relevant? Explore, navigate, communicate, and share your value of how you, as a unique individual, solve business challenges based on that combination. So no singularity, right? It's not just about doing a course. It's not just about being enrolled for 3 years and hoping that that's going to be the calling card that people will recognize you for. You need to be curious about what the organization is doing and how you can position yourself to solve that and those challenges as to what comes next.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what the results of the poll are when they come up, because I talk to people all the time who are frustrated because they say, I have all of this, I've leaned in, I've taken the courses, I've volunteered for the projects, I've done these things, but I can't make that translatable through an ATS that screens me out or through whatever it is. And I think that's valid. And so my advice would be do those things, wherever you have that opportunity within your own organization. That networking is really important. Make yourself visible. Don't just assume that the work that you're doing is going to be seen by everyone else and will speak for itself. It just doesn't work that way. So if you really know that you want to learn something new, or maybe pursue a different direction in your career, take advantage of every opportunity that comes to you, that you can see, that you uncover and dig up within the organization that you're in, and hopefully you can continue to have a career in that organization. And if not, then you've gained some skills and a title and whatever it is you might need to take that and translate that somewhere else. But you can't just hope people see it. You have to really make it obvious.
Yeah, that's great. We've got another question. So this is good. Who's this from? Kathy. So what are the signals to know when it's time to make a career change? Who would like to take that one on?
I'll do it, because I did it when I came to Korn Ferry. I think, like Jonathan, I've had a very squiggly career. If you looked at my background, it doesn't even say where I started, which was corporate finance. And somehow I've ended up doing this. But I've been really lucky to have leaders who've helped me. And, when I've said, hey, I want to do this, or people who've tapped me. So if you're a leader, make sure you're doing that. But if you're waking up, I made a LinkedIn post about this the other day. If you're waking up on Sunday night and maybe your job is fine and you don't hate it and things are okay, and it's not obviously a toxic workplace, but you still have that kind of Sunday night anxiety that people talk about, it might be time to look for a different career. For me, for example, Jonathan was talking about knowing what drives you and what feeds you and what makes you happy. You can be good at something and still not want to do it for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. So if you're getting to that place where it's just not serving you anymore, I think that's a really good, and you can feel it. It's a really good indication you might want to start applying those skills and traits somewhere else.
Great. That's good. Hopefully we'll get the poll up in a minute, but not yet. Let's hold on to that. But you guys start to get that ready. So Quincy, we've called this the new career deal, and a deal usually involves two sides. We've talked a lot about what individuals need to bring to the table, but what should employees reasonably expect from their organizations in return? What's the organization side of the deal?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I hinted at it before. If you're a leader and you're not offering these opportunities or actively having conversations with your employees about what are they doing, what do they want to do, and if you're going to hoard them and not be willing to actively expose them to other opportunities, then maybe you don't need to be a leader. And I mean that as directly as I said it, because organizations don't get a free pass in this. They need to make sure that they are training and expecting their leaders to help their people on their teams have these conversations. You can't tell employees to be proactive if they can't see any opportunity. So are you creating visibility? Are you allowing and encouraging mobility? Are you helping them develop? Are you giving them meaningful work? Because if you're not, people aren't necessarily leaving because they see a better job somewhere else doing the same thing. They're leaving oftentimes because they can't see their next job, whether that's, up the ladder or sideways. So if you don't want to, look, people are doing a better job at hiring talent from the outside than they are at promoting their own internally. Or not, I don't mean promoting them upwards. I mean just promoting their careers in some way. And so my take is that you as an organization need to be really good at making sure that you're making these things visible, that you're offering these opportunities, that the expectation is that your managers aren't hoarding that talent, that they're creating and making visible these opportunities, or you're going to lose your best people. It shouldn't be harder for me to get a job somewhere else than it is to get a new job in my own organization. And unfortunately, that's the case a lot of times.
Yeah. Jonathan, I'm passionate about this.
Yeah, I was just going to say that it's a two-sided story, right? It's not all on the organization, but it's also not all on the employee individual either. Yeah. Organizations need to communicate and engage and provide an environment that allows, especially those early career professionals, to feel aligned with the values and that they are learning. If they're not learning, they're not growing. If they're not growing, they won't stay.
Yeah, perfect. I think we've got another question as well from our audience, so if we can get that on the screen. Sergio, so what should I do when I have extensive experience but I'm passed over due to my age? Oh, this is a bit of a classic question, I'm sure. So who would like to take that one on?
So I'll pick that one up because I coach a lot of individuals who are 25 to 30 years into their career, and they still have a passion and purpose and calling. And that's where we start. We look at the motivation. Who are you? Why do you do this, as I've said before? And we build a picture around your dream wall. Tell me 3, 4, 5 different versions of your future. If you could design them, what would they look like? And we'll go through a process with them. It's really an interesting journey of discovery, Darren, in that it gets you to think about things that you haven't had the opportunity to do either in your current or recent experiences. But if you could add that to the mix or change the construct of your existence from being full-time employee to being part-time plus your own thing, or going fully to your own thing, or reskilling, or taking a break. All of these things come into play. And I help individuals bring that dream wall to life. So, Sergio, in answer to your question, build yourself a dream wall. Bring in optionality that's relevant for you, that's designed by you, for you, from you, so that you can then say, where does that exist? Who do I know that does this? Go and network, be curious, go and find out, have intentionality about really qualifying and force ranking the avenues on your dream wall, but invest your time to go and actively explore them and break through any typical processes where ageism may be a hidden factor, or you feel that you're hitting it, so that you don't hit it, or you approach it differently.
Lovely. Now, can we get the poll? Have we got the answers to the poll? Can the poll go? Oh, brilliant. There we go. So we are seeing, so finding meaningful work seems to be the most popular, staying relevant second. Is that something you're seeing a lot of? Is that a surprise? How do you two feel about that?
I'm not surprised by that, actually. I mean, some people can find it, particularly with, those of us who are experienced in our careers. It's what I said. I'm good at my job. I can do these things. It's not at risk. But if I have to get up tomorrow and do the same thing I've been doing for 10 years, I don't know if I'm going to make it another day. And more men and women that I'm speaking to every day are, oh, please, God, don't make me do this again one more time. They don't want the rote. We still want to make a difference. We still want to learn. We still want to have an impact, and we still want to be relevant. And that relevance is really important for our next career move. So that finding that meaningful work is really important, and organizations need to make sure that they're offering those opportunities to people within it.
I don't know if this makes any sense at all, but is there an age thing here? Because I know a lot of my daughter's friends, they're sort of like mid-20s and stuff, and they are very much about finding meaningful work, wanting to make a difference, wanting to make an impact, all that kind of stuff. And I can see as you're later in life, you're also kind of going, I've done that. I just want to make a difference. Is there a sandwich of a gap in the middle where actually it's less meaningful, or is that just me making it up because I've just seen both ends of that spectrum?
I don't know. I think it applies in both places. Jonathan, what do you think? I mean, I think there's a space in the middle there where you've kind of found your initial path and you're on it and you're learning it. And it takes a minute to realize you're either really good at it and you want to continue doing it, or you're good at it and you don't want to do it, or you're rubbish at it and maybe you should find something else. I think there is a time in there, but I do think it's, at the beginning and then even later in your career, everybody wants to do meaningful work, however they find meaning in that. It's human.
I think for me, it's control. And what I mean is the individual having the confidence that they are in control of the course of events that come their way.
Yeah.
And Darren, that could be for your daughter's generation. It could also be for my generation as well. Yeah. Equally, we want to feel as an individual that we are in control of the things we do and the choices that we make. We might not control everything that goes on around us because that's mission impossible. But what we can do and what we are in full control of, as in Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway book he talks about, is at that moment, you are in full control of your choice, of your response, of your action, of your next step. And I think the meaningful work theme is now so integral in mindset for any individual right now, that why am I doing this? How much longer, as Quincy said, do I want to do this? Don't take this the wrong way, Quincy, but I used to be in recruitment for a long time and I outgrew it.
Right. No.
I can't go back to it. I don't want to go back to it. I keep getting calls. Would you be interested in? No, thank you.
Yeah, I'm not in recruitment either, so I understand.
Yeah. The layers of the cake, the squiggle. I want to keep the squiggle going.
Right, but then there's valuable skills that we learned as recruiters, right?
True.
That helped us get to that next place. That's what I was talking about when I'm saying, if you are a recruiter, for example, which I was early in my career, what are you doing? Well, you're actually selling. If that's what you want to do, how do you apply? It's a very hard sale. It's a double-sided sale. So what else are you doing? You're having those interpersonal skills. You're learning to listen and to really read between the lines of what your hiring manager wants, what the company wants, what the individual wants, and then making that application. So it's about taking those skills and then applying those to that next step in your career lattice, right?
Absolutely.
And we know that passion, if you tap into someone's passion, discretionary effort, psychological contract commitment, the climate, their contribution, they will do things. They will think beyond the task, and they will make an impact on those challenges, and they'll become respected, known, trusted, and sought after.
Exactly.
Right, we are running out of time, so I've got one more thing for you. So I want no lists, no deep dive, no waffling. So the question is, well, two questions to be true. So what's the one thing individuals should be doing more of right now, and what's the one thing organisations should be doing more of right now as well? So Jonathan, let's start with you.
Individuals, build yourself a career resilience checker. Tune in to what's got you here. Tune in to the decisions you make. Don't wait for things to come. Go and explore them and get feedback.
Brilliant. And Quincy?
For individuals, I would say expand your network. And that doesn't mean it has to be formal. It doesn't mean you have to form a networking group, but start looking outside of, if you're in finance and you want out of finance, start making yourself valuable and available to people who are outside of finance, who can start adding perspective and giving you opportunity or access to opportunity you wouldn't have had otherwise.
Great. And for organizations?
One thing I would say is that organizations need to view growth as being multi-dimensional. It could be a sideways move. It could be a secondment. It could be an internal mobility. Add all of those layers into the mix. Build a very, very multi-layered cake of what success in this organization can be enabled through. And it's not just about promotion.
Yeah. Great. Quincy, anything for the organizations?
Yeah, I would say stop telling your employees to own their careers if you're hiding the map. Right. Make that opportunity visible. That's it. Make skills visible, make career paths visible, make mobility visible, all of those things. Make it just as easier to find that new role again inside your organization than it is out.
Fantastic. Well, that is all we've got time for today. Quincy, Jonathan, thank you both. You've both been brilliant. Appreciate you joining us and sharing your perspectives, but I do have to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.
And thank you to everyone today for joining us. Thanks for the comments, the questions, and just generally being part of the conversation. And as always, I'll leave you with one final thought. Most of us spend a lot of time worrying about the next job, the next promotion, or the next step in our careers. But listening to today's discussion, I'm not sure success today is about having everything mapped out. In fact, some of the most successful people I know have taken unexpected turns, changed directions, taken risks, and ended up somewhere they never ever planned to be. So what seems to matter is staying curious, continuing to learn, and being open to opportunities when they show up. Because in a world where careers are becoming less predictable, adaptability isn't just a useful skill anymore, it might actually be the skill. Anyway, thanks for joining us today. Until next time, goodbye.